All right, and here we are going to take a look today at the Mcfarlane DC Multiverse Parallax. We've got the box here, gold label there, Parallax. Side here, we've got Parallax Green Lantern, Emerald Twilight, and on the back, something I really do appreciate, and that's when they do some nice art on the back. I don't know who the artist is, I don't know what this is from. I assume maybe it's from one of the comics, but I'm not sure. But it is a great picture right there on the back. I appreciate this so much more than when we get just a picture of the action figure. I mean, because the action figure is already here. I don't need another picture of it on the back. And for people who are interested, there is the UPC. So let's go ahead and crack him open, take a look, and see what we've got inside. All right, here he is in all his glory. I will be honest, though. It took me a minute to get him to stand up properly. He does suffer from, well, poor ankle articulation in the sense that it's just not great. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute, but I finally got him to stand up on his own without a stand, and here we have him. And honestly, I gotta say, I really, really like this guy. There's been a lot of sculpt work done on here that just really pops, in my opinion, especially for a character that's primarily just two colors, green and black. I mean, you do have the silver accents there, but the sculpt work's really good on the pants, on the boots. It looks amazing. You've got a lot of good sculpt work there, done really, really well. I love the fact that they did the translucent green for the hands to make it look like he's powered up. Torso looks great. Everything just looks really, really well done on the arms as far as the sculpt. Even though it is outside of the boots, maybe a fairly simple sculpt, it's really, really well done. The face looks great with the mask and everything. The only thing I can say I don't like about this is the fact that there's no gray in his hair. And this is Hal Jordan, who's supposed to have gray stripes on the side of his head, and I'm not sure why they decided not to paint that. That may be something that I do myself later on, just to make him look, a little more comic book accurate. But all in all, really well done. Love the shoulder pads there, they're well done. The cape is okay. I mean, it's a good cut of the cape as far as the shape and the design. This is one I think we've seen used before on Superman and possibly even Batman, I'm not sure. It's fine. It does what it needs to do. It's kind of, middle weight as far as, flexibility and stuff like that. It's certainly not one of the thicker capes that they've put out, but not one of the more pliable capes that they've put out, but still pretty good all in all. As far as articulation goes, standard Mcfarlane articulation as far as you've got double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. You do have, again, let's talk about it, these horrible ball ankles. I hate these things. They're just not good to support the figure. These are weak designed ankles. I know Mcfarlane's been stepping it up and doing some new stuff. I wish they would have put that on this guy. I don't know why they didn't, but they didn't, and there you go. We've got toe articulation, standard joints for the waist there and the hips and everything. He gets a little bit of a crunch, but not much, and a lot of these Mcfarlane figures don't. You do have the waist swivel and the ball joint and everything in there. His head would probably be okay. I mean, it's got good articulation. We've got side to side, we've got the rotation, we've got all that. He looks down decent, but when you try and put his head back, that's it. That's it. And that's because the back of his hair touches his collar right here, and his head just won't go back any more than that. So for a character that flies, it's a little disappointing, but I guess we're going to live with it, because overall I do like the figure. I do like the sculpt of the figure, and I think he looks pretty good. And, it's Parallax, so there you go. All right, let's take a look at accessories here real quick. And first of all, let's get the two non-accessories out of the way, and that is the stand, which is not an accessory. It is a necessity with Mcfarlane figures. And then we have the card. Now, I will say, I'm not a fan of these cards. I just don't think they really add anything. I mean, I'd rather see the bio on the back of the box, honestly. More like the old school G.I. Joe figures or something, because that's really all this is. It's just a bio with a picture. But I will say this is a good picture. I don't collect these cards. In fact, usually I just throw them away. But this is a good one. I do like this one. I appreciate the comic book art, again, just like on the box, as opposed to just a picture of the figure. So this is nice. I probably won't keep it, but it's at least, this is a good card if you do collect them. this one's nice. And then we get, surprise, surprise, with a Mcfarlane figure, some actual accessories here. So we got some glowy green special effects for his hands, make him look like he's punching fireballs, I guess, green fireballs, although he's Parallax, so he's, I mean, not really punching fireballs too often, usually making constructs and that kind of thing, but you know, I appreciate the effort, I appreciate the accessories, since it is something we a lot of times don't get with Mcfarlane, although I'll be honest, I'm not gonna really use these more than likely, simply because I like the translucent hands better. I think that's the coolest part of this figure, and I think it's way cooler than just some translucent green plastic effects. But then we have the lantern, and the lantern's pretty cool again. Translucent green, looks really, really good. I think it's perfect, looks good. So I'm probably gonna have him posed holding his lantern, and that's probably about it. But it looks really nice. I like it. I think they did a good job. I mean, it's a basic design, but it looks comic accurate, and I like it. So we actually got some accessories with a Mcfarlane figure, so I'm happy with that. All right, let's go ahead and do some comparisons and throw him up against some other figures. All right, so now let's throw him up against a couple of other Mcfarlane DC characters. First up, we have the new DC Direct Mcfarlane Superman, which this has become my favorite Superman that I have. Love this thing, may talk about in another video. And of course, we've got what I think is the best Mcfarlane Batman, that is the Detective Comics 1000 version of Batman. You can see here, they all stand right about the same size. Batman may be just a hair shorter than the other two, mostly just because this particular Batman kind of has a small head, but that still, I think it works really well. You can easily see a setup here on your shelf if you don't have a Cal Jordan currently, or you just want to set up a shelf scenario where you've got you know, good guys fighting bad guys, whatever it may be. These guys will look really, really good on the shelf together. Alright, so now we've got him going up against a couple of 6-inch scale figures, Marvel Legends. On the left, we have Cyborg Spider-Man, and on the right, we have the 20th anniversary Iron Man. Again, 6-inch, 7-inch scale, two different things. I could maybe buy it with the Spider-Man just because you can say it's supposed to be a younger Spider-Man and he's maybe a teenager and a little bit smaller. But Iron Man is supposed to be larger than a typical human. It is a guy in a suit of armor, and obviously he just doesn't stack up well. Maybe you could do a little playing around on yourself if you wanted to set this guy up with some other 6-inch figures. In general, I don't think it works well. Not for me personally, but maybe you could figure something out. Alright, so now we're going to compare him to a couple of imports here. On the left, we have the Revoltech Iron Man Mark II, and on the right, we got the SH Figuarts in-game Captain America, and these just do not work at all, in my opinion. These are true 6-inch scale figures, unlike the Marvel Legends, and there's just no way this is going to look good in the same display. I say keep these two separate. Alright, for some other 7-inch scale figures for comparison, we've got Mattel's Masters of the Universe on the left, and we've got War Machine Iron Man from ZD Toys on the right, and these work perfect together. I mean, they look great. They're all the same scale. They're all around the same size. I think they work really, really well. So if for some reason you wanted a really, really strange display with all kinds of weird Marvel and DC and Masters of the Universe all mixed up together, these would actually work. Alright guys, finally let's talk about the price. This figure costs $19.99 at retail. Yes, you will pay more for him if you go to eBay or some other aftermarket places. And I get he has kind of been sought after lately and he's been kind of hard to find, but you can find him if you put out your feelers, if you look around. Maybe you have to go online to Target or Amazon or Walmart or wherever, but he can be found. I found this one at my local Walmart. Again, $19.99, great price, especially when you're comparing to other stuff out there on the market right now. I think this is a really, really good figure for a really good price, and I highly recommend it. If you like DC characters, if you're already digging DC Multiverse stuff, this is hands down a no-brainer, definitely one that you got to pick up.